What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to a live Hot Tags, coming to you from smarkoutmoment.com. It's another episode of Smack Talk. We're talking whatever we're talking about here for the Hot Tags, but we're also watching AEW's Rampage, The First Dance live. Hopefully you guys are going to be watching that with us. Who are we? I'm Tony Mango, and with me, usual suspects, I got Robert D. Felice.
Hey guys, tonight is the night.
And I've got Callum Wiggins.
Yeah, I'm awake for this big deal.
Yeah.
Guys, this is amazing. Like, let's just talk about it. This is going to be so much fun.
Hopefully so. I can see Peter's in the chat right now. A couple other people are coming on. Chat it up in the live chat. Tell us what your thoughts are. If you're watching this alongside of us, chat it up about the matches and everything. We will talk about Hot Tags pretty much during, like, lulls into discussion, commercial breaks, those kind of things. We do have a couple things about NXT to talk about. We've got some.
They're already saying that that the surprise will kick off the show. So we ain't gotta wait long.
Maybe that surprise being Alberto Del Rio is popping up. Imagine how pissed so many people would be if that was the case. Our group on commentary tonight is JR, Excalibur, Mark Henry, and Taz. I'm assuming that JR is not going to be as commanding on commentary as Chris Jericho was. Let's see what we get here. We got a cold personality plan. So clearly that means that Punk's not coming out.
Listen to her.
Jesus Christ.
That reaction is amazing.
I don't even have both the earbuds in since I'm doing like fan tracks kind of style, and it's still super loud.
Holy shit.
Oh god, he's there. He's actually there.
Shit, they did it! And I knew about it, and they fucking did it! It's so crazy!
I wonder if it's clobbering time.
Might have to wait to all out for that, but we'll see.
He looks happy. That's good. I mean, he's got to be happy. Like, the crowd's going nuts for him.
There's 20,000 people. There's 20,000 people in that building.
It's been, what, 7 years?
Oh, God. Yeah. Since January 2014. Over 7 years, yeah.
Who ends up coming out to attack him on the ramp?
I mean, part of me was expecting it was going to be MJF beforehand, just MJF coming out to cold personality, and then
God, that would be great. Afterwards.
Yeah,
that would be so tempting to do if I was in Tony Khan's shoes,
Yeah, but I'm kind of happy they just went straight for it.
He's just crying.
But that's the thing. It's like it doesn't necessarily just. A lot of people are now speculating it's not just Punk that's here. So, because at the end of the day, like, imagine you've got this huge that everyone knew was happening, they haven't announced, and this is the perfect opportunity to debut someone else at some point that might not be as big a deal.
Well, who do you guys think would be that other person? Do you think it's just Daniel Bryan, or?
I mean, Adam Scher tweeted recently that he was
who's that?
Who's in Chicago?
Yeah, it took me a second. I'm like, who's Adam Scher? Okay, yeah.
Braun Strowman. Is
that Brock Lesnar guy?
Probably.
Oh god, that's a sign.
Jesus Christ.
I think that's Brock Lesnar guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's Frank the Clown. The guy next to Brock Lesnar guy.
The Punk t-shirt.
Punk XX, yeah.
That's the clown guy.
Yep.
I don't recognize him without his clown outfit.
God, we're never going to get to these 3 matches at this point, right?
Which matches are announced again? It's Jade Cargill.
Who cares?
Jade Cargill versus It's Jade Cargill versus Kiera Hogan. It's I'm trying to remember all of them now.
Jade Cargill, Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan. The tag team match between Jurassic Express and I think Lucha Bros.
Lucha Bros. For the tournament.
Yeah, and Jon Moxley, Daniel Garcia.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm assuming that Cargill match isn't going to go on forever. Then you got the other two could be 10-15 minutes piece kind of deal.
Jesus.
90 seconds more.
Good. Look at it go.
All right. In the meantime, we're on a commercial break. So, hey everybody, because it kind of started off right out of the gate there.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Let me check up on the chat right here. We got Dan Huff, CM Punk, are we unsubscribe? Later on, he says, "Okay, I won't unsubscribe." We got Frankie in the chat. We got Michael Patrick. Thank you, Dane, my buddy Dane, for a super chat. Miro, Christian Cage, and LCM Punk. Let's go. People got goosebumps going on. Not the R.L. Stein books. Who are you guys most interested in seeing CM Punk face first? If you had to pick, drop it in the comments. Is it going to be somebody more along the lines of like a Kenny Omega, or is it more like a Jungle Boy match? Some kind of deal, you looking for more spectacle, or are you looking for more in-ring pizzazz? Or both. You can get both with some people. We got some Arby's commercials going on. Bum, bum, bum. Did you guys notice that Buffalo Wild Wings completely steals this lady?
I've got a Corona commercial.
Oh, I got an Arby's one.
Oh, wait, now I got the Arby's one. You're a little bit ahead of me, you bastard.
So I got Roads to the Top going on right now, actually. I shouldn't be ahead of you. It's a live feed. But
well, blame Spectrum. I also have a live feed.
So in the meantime, if we get a chance to talk about this beforehand, and if not, we'll stop ourselves. One of the things that is going on here is, and there you go. Okay.
Just wrap it up. Go on, guys. Just gonna roll back on.
When we get a situation, we're going to talk a little bit of some trademarks. We're going to talk Max Caster, Capital Wrestling Center changing, and Stephen Amell's Heels show on Starz. And run down some other TV talk, for some other TV things if we want to talk about it. We got one adjustment to NXT TakeOver that we got to mention. Punk hasn't started talking yet. That's why I'm still talking. What's this sign say on the background? Trails of Cold Steel is better than what?
I can't say it. Better than Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 7. God, this guy really wants to get his point across. Whatever it is.
There's a sign that says, "If Punk is here, we riot." Not if he isn't there, if he is. What's the Larry on his hoodie?
That's a dog. His dog.
Ah. What kind of dog? Do you know?
You'll see it on the back of the hoodie if he turns around.
Assuming some sort of like bulldog.
It's not. It's like a little.
Schnauzer.
I'm not sure what kind of brand, but it's a small dog.
Oh, I know, because I saw there was a YouTube clip about him talking about his dog, like on a TV show, and it's like a really like an old aggressive dog.
Dan says Punk versus MJF. CM Punk versus Pac wouldn't be that bad. Potsy, yeah, it's going to be a good match if they end up doing that. Frankie says, how crazy would it be if Daniel Bryan just came out right now?
I mean, he's giving indications that he's not going part-time.
Right. Let me just say, to hell with you then.
Mm.
Mhm. I love the idea that people are comfortable enough these days that they're just kind of like, yeah, you know what? Fuck whatever. I'm just going to say it instead of having to mince words and beat around the bush and whatever.
Yeah, they've basically given him a live mic, and so he's going to go for the jugular here if he has the opportunity.
Let me tell you guys a story. He starts reading Charlotte's Web.
I love this.
They're just hanging on his every word.
They're all like, he sat down.
It's a pretty awesome shirt as well.
Yeah, it's a good shirt. Very, very similar, but slightly different.
I'd actually be fine if this was the whole hour, I think.
Yeah.
I love this so much.
He's going to actually say brand names. Good.
Frank's just boiled down to.
He said professional wrestling. He didn't say sports entertainment.
Yeah, kind of. He's being a lot tamer than I thought he'd be.
Oh, I think he has at least a modicum of, I don't say respect, but he's matured a bit now.
I wonder if they did give him like a time frame that he needed to kind of cut it short on. Calling out Darby Allin, okay.
All right, so
There he is.
here we go. That's all.
I love this so much.
I love the crowd chanting for him as well. Oh, he's there.
Oh, I love this.
It's so good. How high up they are. Fucking hell.
Hmm.
I'm sure there are some people in Chicago that aren't tough.
Time to adjust the all-out stuff a little bit. I'm gonna do that not on this right now. I'll do it after the podcast.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
What was it that Tony Khan had said before that, like, he wanted to build this around CM Punk, right? It was going to be world's best wrestling, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they've got the best in the world now, so they can.
Is the shirt on sale yet so I can buy it? I never bought the first one. I ain't making that mistake twice.
Well, you can't because you weren't there.
Well, fuck off.
So I must have told him that he had about 15 minutes to talk.
Selling ice cream bars as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that so indicative of how WWE works, though? He brings up, like, whatever happened to the ice cream bars, and they take a couple of years to go. Here's a variation of it that's not as good, you know? Hey, we're giving you the ice cream bars. No, you're not. You're giving us a lesser version of it. Well, it's close enough, isn't it, right? Well, that's all we wanted to do. I'm not anticipating anything else is going to happen right after CM Punk, but...
No. No, it'll be in the main event if anything does happen.
Yeah.
I imagine a final match will probably be Moxley versus Garcia, so we could see like a New Japan talent pop up or something and set that up for because Moxley doesn't really have anything set up for All Out yet.
The Tanahashi stuff you think's falling through?
Hang on, I'm buying a shirt.
They've got the ice cream bars as well. It's amazing.
They've got fucking ice cream bars.
But they look like they're like regular Klondike bars.
Ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, that's fine. Well, you just said you just said get an ice cream bar on me. You just said it's like no, they're gonna be like special branded ones. I can't imagine they could have got that sorted in the short window of time it's been a background.
But to be fair, I mean, an ice cream bar is an ice cream bar. It's still pretty fucking good. Oh
yeah, and apparently they'll get it for free. So.
Oh. That was so good.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's giving zero indication that he's only going to be here on like a part-time schedule. It looks like he's here to be here.
Right. I mean, he indicated flat out Wednesdays, Fridays, 4 pay-per-views a year.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he'll wrestle very often just because of his age and the fact that he's only just back.
He doesn't need to.
I mean, he looks like he's super, super committed and like back, so that's great. That's a great first sign.
I mean, how good does the AEW roster look at this point? Not just because of CM Punk,
It's
but
not
just
even-
in general. Like, in the past couple of months, they've made such a big upgrade. And they
It's not
already
even
had
finished
great
yet.
people to begin with, but those people have taken steps up and everything. Like, a guy like Jungle Boy, at the very beginning of his career, when we see him in, like, All In and, you know, the first Double or Nothing or whatever, it's kind of like, oh, all right, this kid's, like, you know, he's kind of fun. And people are just kind of like, yep, you know, he should be a world champion in the future, and he could win the TNT title at any time, and people would completely buy it and everything. It's just, God, it's so much more fun. And then, so I'm currently getting the Parker promo where she totally wants to bang Jake from State Farm. Let's talk about trademarks in the meantime. We got some trademark stuff from stuff that might apply to AEW. There's Jon Moxley had trademarked the Switchblades and Switchblade Conspiracy. Seems like they're going to do some kind of a tie-in with Sami Callihan. How do you guys feel about the whole Switchblade thing?
I think they're a fun team. They were 10 years ago, at least. You know, I think they're cool. Like, I'd like to see Sami Callihan do some stuff in AEW, have some fun with Jon Moxley.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good to bring in some new talent. Sammy's a great worker. I'm kind of surprised with the Switchblade stuff because Switchblade is like that's Jay White's thing. Yeah, so I find it odd that they're going to bring in something which is. I mean, I imagine they had that name first, but now it's so synonymous with a certain group of wrestling fans with Jay White. It seems that maybe they would switch it up a little bit.
Maybe that's why they added the conspiracy part.
Yeah,
or was that what they were originally first?
That was their name. That was their name 10 years ago.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they didn't have it first. It's just times have changed since then. Now Switchblade is.
Come on, I can't. Just the site has crashed. No surprise. CM Punk is a star. He's over as fuck, and yeah, there are other hot tags. Nothing beats this. That felt so good, and I have known for a month that this was at least on the table. I didn't know exactly in the United Center, but I have known that like CM Punk and AEW were speaking, and even with it being slapped in the face, I got all day comments saying, "Oh, don't get disappointed if he doesn't show up. Well, he's not going to show up." And good Lord, doesn't it feel good when they just give you what you want?
Right.
They didn't even have to actually say it and everything. So it's just like,
and they didn't make
we all know what's happening.
It wasn't like this bullshit, oh, well, he's coming, there's a limo. No, he's here. Let's go. Like, fantastic.
The AEW team's very quick on Twitter with the CM Punk is all elite graphic.
I mean, I'm sure they had that in. Yeah.
It was up the second the show started.
So another trademark to talk about here, WWE has filed a trademark for Charlie Dempsey, which we can assume is obviously somebody's name that they're going to switch over. And I don't know anybody that really hasn't had their name already. So I'm drawing a blank on who could Charlie Dempsey be. But the name itself, bland as all hell, in my mind.
It's a really lame name, yep.
The only interesting thing about it is that it could apply to a man or a woman.
A woman. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a dude's name. I don't know who you'd want to change their name to Charlie Dempsey. It's like, does somebody have a lame name? Is that Elias's new name? Is Elias just going to be, "Hi, I'm Charlie Dempsey. I sell propane and propane accessories"? Who knows? You know, it's like
it was probably someone who's just at the Performance Center who just hasn't appeared on TV ever before.
So currently, if I have my list right, there are maybe like 4 people that it could apply to. Bailey Matthews being one, because
no, that'd be a terrible name for young Regal.
Yeah, but I mean they've done weirder things. Look at Michael McGillicuddy.
Yeah, you're right.
They could, technically speaking, Bronson Rechsteiner and Parker Boudreaux.
Can you imagine?
Matrick Belton, Joe Areola, Fai Cheng Wang.
That guy
maybe him.
Like he might need a new name.
Joe where is it? I already mentioned Joe. Sean Tan and Cal Bloom. I can imagine Cal Bloom out of the bunch from there, but
Areola.
I would hope so. Because, the name Joe Areola, like, come on. Love the song Tarzan Boy. So this match, by the way, for anybody who's watching the show along with us, it's going to be Private Party against
I
Jurassic Express. And it's for round 1 of the tournament to determine who fights the Young Bucks at All Out. So it's either going to be Jurassic Express or Private Party against Lucha Bros or Varsity Blondes. Before anything happens,
think all teams except Private Party have a shot.
Exactly the same idea that I have. All of them have a shot to get the title match, and I think that there's only really Lucha Bros or Jurassic Express that could beat the Young Bucks. But how you feeling about it, Callum? You think leaning one way or another?
I said I don't know whether I said it on the air or I just said it to Rolo earlier, like a week or so ago. But I thought they were building up the Lucha Bros to take on the Young Bucks at All Out because they've been giving them tons and tons of wins recently on Dark and Dark Elevation.
I lean a little bit more towards Lucha Bros getting the match just because Jurassic Express just had it on Dynamite, which that was a damn good match.
Yeah.
Not at all surprising. You put the Young Bucks in the match with two people like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. You're going to get a good match.
Bucks get some airtime.
They got a strut and everything, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they are so good at being healed. They are the least likable human beings when they want to be healed. But their matches are good and they're entertaining, so I can live with it.
Yeah.
There's Phoenix. So how did we Brock Lesnar go?
Yeah, and you got the Varsity Blondes in there. So I'm definitely a little bit ahead of you. Are you both watching on Fight?
No, I'm watching on Spectrum.
Oh, wait, that's right. You did say Spectrum, yeah. So, like, I'm currently at, like, Jungle Boy just did a flip.
Well, you have cable.
Right.
I have a streaming cable package.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, I'm only just at the point where he's just done a
but Callum doesn't get commercials, so good for him.
No, I'll actually be able to watch this here in picture-in-picture.
Oh, that sucks. I want to live in the UK. Like,
you're also able to watch NXT UK when it comes on. I reached out to Peacock again about that, by the way. Anybody who wants to know why I haven't fixed America yet. And they said that they're going to make some more adjustments, again, based off of me. They indicated it. So
yeah, obviously I look forward to this match just because it'll be really good. But I'm imagining that Dark and Dark Elevation this week are going to be absolutely stacked. Because you got a 20,000 seat stadium here. I'm pretty sure, even though CM Punk
there was 18 matches taped for Dark.
Jesus God! Now is that for both Dark and Dark Elevation, or is that just 18 for Dark?
18 matches taped for Dark.
My God!
Hey, if you've got the crowd for it, I'm sure most of the matches won't go longer than like 3 or 4 minutes. So.
Still, though, 18. No need for it. You know?
Well, I'm sure they did. I'm sure like most of those ones are just while people were filing into it as well. So
I have to write myself a note to check that up. Oh, thank you, Marquise, for the super chat. No words can explain how much that meant to me. Try to explain it in words, because everybody has their own fandom of CM Punk, and you know, I've been very, very pro CM Punk. I've been all right, shut up a little bit at different times. What is this that they're advertising here? Oh, this is the Rose to the Top thing. Okay.
Oh, what a moment.
Yes, I don't think I think the 4-man booth is probably a bit too excessive. It's kind of benefited from the fact that Mark Henry doesn't say anything, pretty much.
Well, that might be a product of the 4-man booth. If they had only the 3 of them, he might be able to step up more. He might just be a little bit too like, all right, I don't want to step over anybody's toes, you know?
Yeah. To be fair, I wasn't super impressed with what Mark had to say on the debut one.
Yeah.
He just doesn't feel like he's honestly, and I don't want to like take it away from, because obviously he's a guy who's been in the business for many decades. He doesn't seem like he knows a lot of stuff. Like, he knows how to be, like, being strong. He knows, like, oh, that may have hurt and stuff like that, but he doesn't... I don't think he knows the names of moves. I don't think he's ever needed to know the names of moves.
Just an update, the site's still down. I still can't get a shirt.
They did some. They just did. I'm watching obviously on Fight, so I can see what's happening during the break. They just did poetry in motion to Jungle Boy against the guardrail.
Oh, we can see that too. We just have a Burger King commercial on the
Oh
side
right,
of
okay.
it.
Oh, yeah, I've got
yeah.
a portal from Facebook commercial going on.
Yeah,
So now I'm on
you're
something
about
else.
30 seconds ahead of me, you jerk.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at that! Oh man, Jinder Mahal just turned babyface.
If you had said anything else, I would have been bad. Ah.
Michael in the chat says both Pro Wrestling Tees and Shop AEW have crashed.
Yeah, okay. It's loading again. Maybe I'll get through this time. I just have to click check out.
I don't imagine like you said that you predicted it was going to be like 1.3.
1.3.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that might be the case for the first quarter, and then everyone's going to fall asleep. So
Well,
I imagine it will average out to maybe about 1 million.
Hopefully they keep it on through the cigarette break, and they just manage to get through. That was awesome.
Yeah, I think that's like this is also like the most amazing thing in particular is just the fact that like the CM Punk's debut is going to start this thing, and then I just saw someone tweet out, and so I'm just going to like reiterate it. Guess who's main eventing this show tonight? Daniel Garcia, a guy who didn't debut until about 3 weeks ago.
Isn't that amazing though? Like they see so much in him, and I don't blame him. He's really good. Moxley, I'm so glad to see him there. I can't wait to see him and Punk actually have a rivalry because they had matches. But remember, like he never even feuded with singles Dean Ambrose. He just had some matches with Shield Dean Ambrose.
He famously won that 3-on-1 handicap match. Was his like one of his penultimate matches.
Isn't that crazy?
Was a 3-on-1 handicap match victory over the Shield in TLC 2013.
TLC 2013 because they really were gonna go to Punk and Hunter at Mania 30, and like not that would have been a bad match for the time. It was just underwhelming, and we see, it never happened, and something much better happened with Triple H at that event, and yeah.
Just a couple things go a little differently, though. Imagine how some things could have been different, because even if you keep the whole yes movement and you just kind of tweak it just from the benefit of hindsight, if you were able to get Punk versus Triple H and get Daniel Bryan against like Batista and Randy Orton in the main event, it still changes so much. Even if right after that Punk leaves and all that, it's just the fact that Bryan doesn't get to beat Triple H and everything doesn't mean as much. And
like if you think about it, I don't think we get anything we got that year. I don't think we get Evolution Shield. I don't think we get Bryan at all. I don't think, because it really would have just been Batista beats Randy and he goes on to lose it in a quote unquote dream match to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
Right. Peter in the chat says, glad to be wrong. Thought that WWE was going to counter Punk with releases. God, imagine that. Imagine that being their idea of being like, all right, we got to kind of undercut the CM Punk thing. What do we do? Fire more people? Like, that would be...
Somebody said, and I'm not taking this out on you, Peter, but somebody on Twitter was like, oh, this would be a great day to release people because nobody will be looking at anything but CM Punk. And it's like, I get that you're trying to be cheeky, but that's a shitty thing to say, like...
I was thinking that could be something that they would do, too.
but it comes from a shitty place in terms of like what's saying that like they would do. Holy fucking shit!
All right, I'm waiting. What happened?
You saw that, right, Tony?
Oh! No, I actually wasn't looking at the screen at that point. I was reading up on the chat.
Canadian Destroyer from like off the shoulders of Luchasaurus.
At least you know what? At least he pancaked. And
you know what? Yeah, you know what I appreciate about that is the fact that Jungle Boy wasn't going to kick out if Luchasaurus didn't get there.
Yeah, he was out. Okay, maybe the site's working now. Like
Let's see what your priorities are at this point.
the theme for this show is
Jesus Christ.
Pride Party very good.
Yeah, they are really they're really trying to show off tonight.
The energy's got to be crazy.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's that. I'd like to see him against Dante Martin in just a flip match. Just a match where they flip.
Yeah. Let's go for the wrestling and just do the the Olympic gymnastics instead. Do a floor routine.
Michael brings up it's going to be Bryan versus Sheamus. Yeah, their idea of like let's do that for 3 WrestleManias. Don't know why.
Oh, doing the silly string. Oh.
Oh, the Marco Stunt thing.
I haven't gotten to that point yet. Oh, but Hardy's up on the apron, so I imagine that's what to deal with it.
You know, Tony, you had tweeted out that you were really hoping that this weekend would deliver. Hasn't just that moment given you so much hope?
Not to be a downer, but honestly, no. Because it was like, all right, yeah, Punk's there. Like, cool. Like, we got confirmation of that. It's really cool. But if I wouldn't have known ahead of time, it would have hit me more.
Have you seen Punk's most recent tweet?
Nice. That what he tweet?
No.
It's just a press release, and it basically says Chicago, Illinois, August 20, 2021. The following statement was released today by CM Punk through AEW President and GM Tony Khan of All Elite Wrestling in response to questions about his future career plans. And then it just says, "I'm back."
If you don't know, that's a parody on the Michael Jordan was an idiot and tried to play baseball for a little while, and then sent a fax saying, "I'm back," and that's basically that. And I like that. I got it in the cart, guys.
And there's Jurassic Express win. That's to be expected.
All right, so Jurassic Express face Lucha Bros, and then it's dealer's choice, but I think whoever beats them beats the Bucks.
Same here.
I don't think the Bucks are dropping it at All Out personally, but
you think they make it to drop it to Punk and Bryan at some point in the near future?
I'm trying to think who would be a tag team that would beat them. Part of me's thinking it might just be Guerrillas of Destiny at some point. They bring them in to do it just for a temporary thing, but it could be one of these teams. But I just feel like the team just hasn't emerged yet that's going to beat them yet.
I thought that Santana and Ortiz would make sense, but they just kind of disappeared for a little bit.
Well, yeah, because they still need to finish off this match with. How
do you like Kenny Omega with the Lemmy?
I think that he's just channeling his what he thinks the Triple H look is from his Reign
of Terror.
Yeah, Reign of Terror. So he's just mimicking the look, but not having as terrible or as mind-numbing a reign.
Frank, yes. What do you think that Vince is doing right now? Like, do you think he cares at all? Because I don't.
I think he's taking a nice massive shit if he's awake. He's just,
he's awake because he never sleeps. I assume he's working out at some point.
That's true, because he never sleeps because sleep is his enemy.
See, yeah, exactly. I would think that Vince's philosophy is, I didn't fucking want him anyway. They can have him. He's not going to make that big of a deal.
He was the one that wanted Punk. It was Triple H that didn't want him.
I don't think that Vince would care all that much. I think that he is so firmly into that WWE is the star, not each individual person, that nobody matters, you know?
I think it would hurt his feelings to know that CM Punk really had a bad experience there, because Vince is one of those guys who does genuinely believe, WWE family, you know, like, it probably does bother him. Like, Punk said he cried when he left.
What, that Vince cried?
Yeah.
He was like, no.
But yeah, I imagine that he's not watching and he's not paying any attention. Again, it's just that out of sight, out of mind type of attitude.
So in the meantime, when we're on a commercial, let's talk about another thing that we have in the hot tags here. You guys check out Stephen Amell's show, Heels, on Starz?
Thought it was good.
Well, with this guy on it, CM Punk, right?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Oh, he hasn't popped up yet on the first episode, at least.
But he will be there.
He will be.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it because I don't have access to Starz.
No, that's unfortunate. We should we'll hook you up.
I don't care enough, really.
Fair enough.
I still haven't watched fucking Glow, so I'm not gonna bother with that.
Glow's good. I like the Glow.
Glow was good.
I know it's one of those things that I always say that I'll get around to it and never get around to.
So I wasn't feeling Heels as much as I was hoping that I would. I don't think that it's bad, but some elements of it, I'm worried that they're going to go in a direction that I'm not going to like. Like, for instance, it's very Southern.
Yeah.
And
it's very
that works.
Southern wrestling.
Yeah, it works for the show itself and its premise of just being like, we're small town Southern wrestling and you're going to go up north to WWE kind of thing. They name drop WCW and Sting and like some other names. So they don't even act like, a lot of shows in that capacity would try to pretend like the actual ones don't really exist. You never see like, a superhero thing that's not Marvel or DC, and sometimes they don't reference things like Superman, because then it would take a little bit out of it. But I'm not big on the whole Southern thing. So when they get into the whole, like, we got to go to church today and we're going to show you the Southern values for this and that, I'm just sort of like, all right, now I'm kind of watching a show that doesn't have to do with the pro wrestling stuff. And it felt a little CW to me in some fashions. So it's not really all that great when some CW shows don't have the best reputation.
You mean the guy starring in Arrow is in a show that's a CW show?
That's true. So Kira Hogan's no longer in Impact, right?
Correct.
It's not that she's just like one of those crossover talents?
Correct.
I wonder where she's going next.
I don't know. She's only been on the last 4 AEW shows.
So very clearly MLW, right?
I mean, they're giving her time with video packages here, so that's a good sign. It's like,
I mean, she's a big enough name that I can imagine that they would sign her.
Yeah, they need.
Jade Cargill looks like a star.
Yeah, she has from the very start.
Yeah, and it's a really weird kind of I don't want to say situation with her, but it's just, I mean, she's clearly green and she has to get more reps under her, but it's just a case of they're giving her win after win after win. They've kept her completely undefeated, but they can't put her in the title scene. Right.
Well, because like you said, I mean, she's way far away from being able to be somebody who wins that championship and can hold it. But if she works hard enough, I mean, she's got the look for it. Not only is she a good-looking girl, but she's also tall as hell, and she's also muscular and everything. Like, she looks like she could beat the shit out of everybody on that roster.
Yeah, and good. I envision whoever beats Britt Baker, she's the next women's champion after that.
If probably she's at the level where she's ready, because she's still got
I think if you have a look like that, then it doesn't matter as much.
Fair enough.
Because you have to think there's I don't want to say the casual or mainstream fan or anything like that, but they're more about, a lot of them will be more about appearances and sides and stuff like that. Because as long as she's working with someone that can work well, I'm pretty sure she can be carried.
Mm-hmm. And even still, it's only one match on any particular card.
Yeah.
So if she has a good match and then a bad match and a good match and a bad match or something, as long as she balances out to where it's overall, it's not going to be bad enough where people start bitching and complaining, then that's positive.
Yeah.
I've seen some stuff from Kira Hogan, not a whole lot, but I've liked from what I've seen from her. And this is probably the end of the match.
Yeah, she's very talented.
And there you go. That's the end of the match.
Oh yeah, but we're not gonna. Yeah, but this
We'll
is
get there in
the
about
match where she
45
can
seconds.
showcase it.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. You just missed Jinder Mahal's babyface turn. It's fine.
Yeah.
Frankie agrees. Jade Cargill is so good, so much potential. Marquis says Jade is delicious as fuck.
Okay.
And Michael says Vince is in the gym saying, "What the hell is Rampage?" Yeah, it might be true too.
Like she looks like who should play Storm in a X-Men movie.
I think she looks a little too badass to play Storm, even though Storm's one of my
A
favorites.
little too ready to kick somebody's ass.
Yeah, Storm I always figure is more of like pacifist in a lot of ways. Underrated character though, man. I mean, we could get into that on a Fanboys Anonymous side of things, but check out Fanboys Anonymous, by the way, for anybody who doesn't remember about that. Fanboysanonymous.com. Head on over there, like, follow, share, favorite, subscribe. Do that same stuff that you do over on Smark Moment.
Tony, you probably missed it, but
What's that?
So Punk's on Dynamite on Wednesday, so that's good.
Yep. Yeah, we're just running down the Dynamite card.
Yeah. Varsity Blondes versus Lucha Bros. Yeah.
The Brock Anderson things, like... Peter's asking, does Tony Storm have COVID? I haven't heard anything about that. I was assuming that they just didn't have any kind of creative direction for her.
Yeah, I would tend to go lean with the latter as well.
guys,
Creative
this is the fastest hour of my life. What do you mean it's 10:46?
Yeah.
I feel like it's been 10 minutes.
Talk about a team that just said, all right, fuck it then, I'll go to the other company. 2.0.
That's good. I've already built up a big match for next week's Rampage, so that's good. Probably keeps giving you reasons to be excited.
I like 2.0.
They've got so much personality and character.
They're so good.
Again, I don't know why WWE hires these people
I
and
can't
then they
believe they
go...
were on 205 Live. Like, this is a joke.
Right.
Well, just I believe like it took them till the very, very end of their run in NXT to give them like
something to
promo
do.
segments and vignettes, yeah. And then they immediately dropped them afterwards. He has so much. They have so much character. They're such great, like goofball heels.
Because they went from like complete obscurity to being on every episode of 205 Live as the focal points and giving them 2, if not 3 attempts at pilots of different shows, like on the network and everything and the YouTube channel. And it was like, while they're figuring it out, they release them. It's baffling their ideas of, let's bring somebody back and fire them that same week. Let's finally do something with them and release them. It's just, I don't understand that philosophy. But you know what I do understand, though? Using the promo code SMARK over at manscaped.com and getting 20% off your order and free shipping, because Manscaped has sponsored this episode, as they've been sponsoring many episodes recently. And if you want to take advantage of that, you want to clean up your balls, you want to shave things and make sure that you're all cleaned up down there, that is the best place for you to pick up some stuff. So we have talked about that here and there. We've given you a full rundown of some of the different products that they've had there. I think at this point, with the amount of products that we've used and the time that we've used them, progress report is in due. I have used every one of their products except for, I think, maybe just the regular razor, and I've been using them for 2 months. They have been my go-to shavers and everything since then, especially the nose trimmer, actually. The Weed Whacker, infinitely better than the other ones that I had, so I've been using that one more than anything else. But how about you guys? Any lawnmower stories? Any kind of... I got a thing on a razors right on my screen right now that's a different company, but screw them. They're not as good.
I use every single one of their products, down to the cologne, the wash, the body wash, the foot deodorant. They even got the crop mops in case you just want a little freshening up down there. Everything that they got is good over at manscaped.com. But I do have to agree with you. For me, it's the weed whacker. I've had a few nose hair trimmers, and they're not as effective nor as quiet and peaceful sounding as the weed whacker is. So I'm very pleased with manscaped.com.
Yeah, I tend to like appreciate more the obviously the weed whacker stuff and the lawnmowers is really, really good, but it's like obviously you only need to use it every couple of like days or weeks or anything along those lines. So I appreciate that they're high quality when you need them, but I really enjoy the like colognes and the deodorants and stuff like that, because it's stuff that you can use every single day, apply it immediately, and yeah. So it's good they have a nice mix of stuff that you're going to need for occasional use and the stuff that you could use day in, day out. And yeah, just helps everything keep fresh and and helping anyone else that has to interact with those parts of your anatomy.
And in our live chat right now, we have Michael say, I'm neither going to confirm nor deny that one morning I was so exhausted as I was shaving my face, I came to the realization that I was using my lawnmower. But hey, advanced skin safe technology. You're not going to get your face cut up, just like the same. You're not going to get your balls cut up, right? Marquise going to pick up the lawn trimmer. My glass has gotten too much messy. Manscaped has been with us for a little while now. I've not charged any of my stuff except for the first time, so that's another thing too. If you get it plugged in and you have that on a full charge, it's going to last you a while. And in the meantime, if you want to pick up any of these kind of things, remember, just use that promo code SMARK, Smark, over at manscaped.com for whatever the order is. Doesn't matter if it's a performance package or if it's an individual item or you're renewing a subscription. If you use that, you get free shipping, you get 20% off. So thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring us. And we are going back to Rampage for our main event of Jon Moxley against Daniel Garcia. So you think Garcia's winning this?
He wins because he's in front of this crowd facing Jon Moxley. So
just the use of music in AEW. Some of the songs aren't as good as some of the songs in WWE individually. You know, obviously some people have better songs, some people have worse. But using Tarzan Boy, using Wild Thing, it just works.
Yeah, they just have a load of songs where to get the crowd engaged.
Mm-hmm. It would feel a little bit forced, I think, in WWE's environment. It's a little stuffier.
Mm. But I appreciate this because it just feels quite I don't say organic, but because realistically they're compelling the audience to sing along by using songs like this, so it's actually more, I guess, just compelling people than WWE stuff does, because WWE doesn't use a serious amount of licensed music. Like the last time they used anything that was seriously like licensed for a while was probably Ronda Rousey's thing.
Yeah, it's true. But it's a good psychological trick too, because this is a recognizable song that if people get to where they're like, oh, I can sing along with that a lot better than you can't sing along with Billy Kay, burr, 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 burr. Like,
for many reasons.
It's a good song, but the way that they tend to do things with like the WWE music group, it's just not quite the same. Although, some of those songs are great too. Keith Lee's theme, for instance, good song. Yeah. So our match gets started here. As this is going on, we should talk about some other hot tags too. Here's something AEW related that's pretty interesting. We know that Max Caster had gotten into some trouble with his most recent rap. Do you guys see this thing about him auctioning off his gear?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it's truly him, we know what that means, and it's unfortunate that they weren't able to ride out this first real inconvenience.
Because he had put on the thing that he wasn't going to need it anymore, which is again, if it is him and everything, that's pretty obvious message to send of, well, I guess I'm not going to be in AEW much longer.
Well, I think Anthony Bowens had a singles match with, I can't remember who it was exactly, but someone on a Dark Elevation recently. So, and yeah, they were building up a feud between the Varsity Blondes and the Acclaimed over the tag team title stuff, and it's pretty obvious that the Acclaimed aren't involved in this when they were ranked number 2 just a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah, they're off the rankings and all that.
Yeah, so I feel like they're on a. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. I think this is just Max Caster trying to rile people up because a mixture of the fact maybe he's annoyed with AEW for what's happened, but also he's annoyed at the people for, the ones that are calling him out for it because, again, what he said was stupid and it was a rap that shouldn't have said, but there is also like this heavy social justice warrior action towards him as well, and it's just a little bit there's fault on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there is fault on both sides, and I believe that while what he said was stupid and shouldn't have been said, it also shouldn't have made air, and I think that there were just a lot of mistakes,
So we were talking about music earlier, talking about some other TV stuff that went on this week. If we're talking AEW and Dynamite, how fun was it with the Judas entrance?
I think that they were more in sync than I thought they would be, but even though they did have to read the lyrics off their phones, but I think that's all good.
Yeah,
they had fun.
Yeah, they compelled them to do it through like the AEW thing, so you knew it was going to happen. I think it went better than I actually imagined it happening, but then again, they only really knew the chorus, but that's fine because
my favorite thing though was Dasha tries to introduce Jericho, and he's like, "No, like you better stop. This is my moment, and you need to stop."
Yeah, just cut it. Don't because that should be self-explanatory. Don't cut it in the middle of that. But she's just doing her jobs.
I'm just like watching this match at the moment. Just to comment on that, it's just a case of it's quite astonishing how Moxley looks huge in this environment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do have smaller guys.
Yeah, so I just find it interesting the fact that he was just like an average sized guy in WWE.
How do you feel about Reigns' comments? Let's talk about that real quick. First of all, he said CM Punk wasn't as over as John Cena and never moved the needle like The Rock. Any thoughts on that?
We'll talk about how Pete Rosenberg just completely shit the bed after those responses.
Yeah.
I feel like Reigns is just going to be. I don't blame Reigns for taking the approach that he is because he's the top guy in WWE right now. He's not going to say anything different, is he?
And he's got to toe the company line.
Yeah, and he's not. Moxley wins with a bulldog choke. I don't think that. I don't blame him for doing that sort of thing because I'd imagine that most people do it, and he's got the confidence to say that as well. If it was anybody else in WWE that says that, then I feel like, look, put it this way: if it's Seth Rollins again, just coming to the behest of WWE, then I get pissed off. Oh, hang on, post-match attack, something gonna happen?
Not as interesting as I was hoping would end up happening.
Oh, it's just Darby.
Yeah.
Well, it's just Darby?
And Sting. But,
yeah.
Darby Allin, Sting, Eddie Kingston, Jon Moxley. It's just the same group. It's nothing super duper like, oh my God, Braun Strowman popped up or whatever it might be. But then again, I wasn't expecting anything like that anyway. And we still have a few minutes, so who knows? But
I think to be honest, after the CM Punk thing, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of okay with just that.
Yeah.
You get to see Sting do a Stinger splash.
I think if anybody complains that there isn't another surprise on there, you're asking for too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave you what you needed.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they're sending the crowd home happy here. You get to see some of Darby before he takes on Punk, and you have to build him up to be as strong as possible going into that. So.
Mark Henry has told me to cancel Christmas.
In fact, Darby just dropped to his knees there.
Yeah, it looks like we're just signing off.
That's good, yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, that was a. Listen, everything else on the top of the show was just a bit. Everything else on top of the Punk thing was just a bit of like, obviously window dressing and stuff like that. So we got the moment we came for.
Right. Again, if you're asking for more, I think you're asking for a little bit too much. Frankie brings up what do we think about Darby being the first guy? I see it. You know, Darby Allin, I don't think that he's 10 out of 10 the most amazing person in the world in professional wrestling, but he's a star. He's fun. A lot of people want to work with him, and other people have had other things set up for All Out, so that's a good person for Punk to start off with, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a guy who's super over, a guy who's been working really hard recently and has been getting some really good matches out of people. He's well established. It means that Punk would be beating someone who's high up if he gets the win straight away. And I think it's someone who will work to make that match as good as it possibly can and will help shake off any ring rust that Punk has. But yeah, I think it's a really good choice to put him up against a up and coming young star straight away, but someone that won't be hurt by losing to Punk.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. You would think that this would be, let's set up a major shitbag heel, but I ain't gonna complain. You have all of the energy that you need to have a major pay-per-view match. Darby had said, I think it was like Full Gear 2019. He's like, I will headline a pay-per-view one day. This might be the chance, young man, because I don't see anything headlining in Chicago over CM Punk. Tyler or not.
I still think that probably the title ends up getting over him. Just because I think that they put that in a position where, not to say that it'll happen, but if Punk does have ring rust, and that's the main event, then people get more disappointed about it, Plus, I like the idea that, like, for Darby Allin in that situation, you don't need a feud. Whereas, like, if this would have been straight into MJF, they can milk that more. The Darby Allin thing, it's just sort of, okay, those two fight. You have a couple of weeks to set that up. That's fine. You don't need anything better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the match itself is a draw because CM Punk's there, so you don't need to spend time developing a rivalry between two people. You just said CM Punk calls out this guy who was talking about best in the world and has been doing really good stuff recently. And yet says, we're going to fight. And they're going to fight. That's all you need.
So going back to some of the other TV stuff to round out some of these hot tags that we had, we were talking a little bit about Dynamite, just to go back and talk about some of those things that happened there. Darby Allin and Sting beat 2.0. Sammy Guevara proposed. So congrats to Sammy Guevara.
Good for him, man. I was very happy to see that. Sean Spears had the match with his wife. I was very good.
Talked about that Jurassic Express match was really good. We got Paul White's going to fight QT Marshall at All Out.
Perfect.
Yeah, just gets him hit a chokeslam.
What do you mean, What would it, He's going to chop the man, punch the man, chokeslam the man, and we're done. What's the Why?
Out of all the matches that they could announce for it, that one's not moving the needle for me.
No, it's just that. Well, nothing's moving the needle. That's what the Punk's match there's for. That's the only thing you need to sell this pay-per-view.
Yeah, but even still, I'm not going to talk about the QT Marshall match as it being something great just because of that. Be like, nah.
Hold on. Young Bucks in a cage. Christian is in a world title match. By the way, he couldn't wrestle a few months ago. Punk is back. Like that's what's moving the needle. Paul White's just like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, but exactly. I'm just like, it's a thing. It's nothing to go crazy about. Paul White's having a match against QT Marshall. Okay. He does some moves or he doesn't. Not going to go crazy over it. Thunder Rosa beat Penelope Ford. MJF beat Chris Jericho. So the 5 labors lead to Jericho losing that.
Very surprised.
Could we talk about the Ford and Rosa match and the fact that Ford, very nobly of her, decided to wrestle, considering the fact that her gear was lost in the airport.
I was wondering why she was wearing that.
And so she wrestled in essentially her street clothes. So
yeah,
credit to her for that, to not miss an opportunity to get on TV.
And she looked great doing it too. And massive credit to Penelope Ford. I've always found her really fun. Even when I first saw her with the All In event, I was like, okay, she needs to get somewhere. If she doesn't get signed by AEW, she needs to go to WWE, that kind of deal. I like Penelope Ford. I like Rosa too. It's not to downplay her.
I imagine that Thunder Rosa is going to be challenging some point late in the year for the AEW Women's title, because I imagine that even though it hasn't been announced or anything yet, I imagine it's going to be Chris Statlander at All Out. So,
yeah.
So you hold off the Thunder Rosa thing until a little bit later on.
Yeah, maybe Full Gear.
Yeah, Full Gear maybe. They might try and make that as a main event of one of the Dynamites going forward, just because Full Gear will sell on Omega versus Page most likely. So
yeah, because there's Winners coming. I still hate that title. And when is was it Grand Slam or something?
Yeah, that's the
September.
Okay.
Yeah, the big September show from Arthur Ashe, but that will sell on the back of Daniel Bryan apparently debuting there, maybe. But it depends if Daniel Bryan debuts beforehand. But
I think that's
I shouldn't have a big match
on a title match.
Yeah, I shouldn't have a big match scheduled for that one. That could be the Page versus Omega match actually, because I imagine they might want to pop a rating on a huge stadium more than they would do for get buys for Full Gear. You do a Page versus Omega rematch there.
What's that?
You could do the Page Omega rematch at Full Gear after Page wins at Arthur Ashe.
I don't see anything worth talking about on NXT UK. On NXT itself, we had some kind of odd things.
Let's talk about NXT UK. Mustache Mountain lost a tag team title match.
Yeah.
It just seems like I know there's the whole idea that maybe they will be splitting up and Trent Seven will turn heel, but I just feel like they're just better than these whoever.
Pretty Deadly.
I can't remember the name of the team. Yeah.
Fabio twins, as Rob calls them.
That's right, Mario Fabio and Luigi Fabio.
Why not? It just annoys me that they're losing to that.
I mean, you got the NXT UK Heritage Cup on bait. I wouldn't think that they would double them up. But Mustache Mountain not being NXT UK Tag Team Champions by this point is still just very surprising.
Well, they got to win the real NXT Tag Team Championship.
They lost it, it was 2 weeks later?
Something like that.
It was very soon. I think that they had, they won it and they lost it at, the next taping or something, if I remember correctly. That wasn't that long.
Yeah, it was pretty much. I think, realistically, their reign, I think, in terms of, WWE lineage, because the taping schedule, they reigned for about, 2 to 4 weeks, something like that. But I think in actuality, it was about less than a week.
Yeah, 5 days or something.
Yeah.
Well, on the NXT side of things, we talked a lot about some things heading into TakeOver 36 from this weekend, but now we know that there's an extra match added to the card. You got Ridge Holland against Trey Baxter for the pre-show.
Yeah, it'll give me a chance to watch him go. You know what I mean? I haven't seen too much of Trey Baxter, and I haven't seen Ridge Holland since he had that mishap.
Yeah, I mean, you just went in terms of the QT Marshall and Big Show. That's just exactly the same here. It's just
Tony,
yeah, it's another just,
Yeah, it's just yeah, just a big guy against a small guy, and the big guy's going to win because that's the new NXT.
Yeah, and there's not much more to it. Baxter's a cruiserweight. Anytime that they book these cruiserweights in a non-cruiserweight match, they lose. They try to make a big deal out of, like, say, Ike Manjiro, and they're like, oh my god, Ike Manjiro is going to have this match on 205 Live. And then when they put them on NXT itself, they don't even give them entrances. So we know how this is going to play out. Baxter's losing, Rich Holland wins. It's going to be a short thing, 5 minutes or so, maybe even less than that. And, it's a pre-show's a half an hour. By the time they go through all of the talk about all that stuff, there's not going to be that much time left. So I'm curious why this was even added to the card, because didn't need it. But maybe they just kind of want to give Rich Holland a little bit more of a boost or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we also more time.
We also know that there are going to be changes to the Capitol Wrestling Center. Triple H mentioned that. That was pretty much the reason why they did that whole thing at the end of NXT this week, where Joe and Cross were kind of barreling through some of the barricades and everything. And some of the changes are going to be, they want it to be brighter, more lights and everything. So they responded to the idea that the plexiglass and everything like that it seemed a little too dark. But it's kind of strange how this happens in WWE. You can be like, hey, the arena's a little dark that you just spent all this money doing. And then they'll go, oh, okay, well, then we'll change it. And you could be like, hey, can you kind of like give us a match that's not a repeat? And they're like, nah, oh my God, no. Like, it's just sort of.
Well, that's two different teams. Like, the creative team, it's just easier to do a match that you've seen the last 3 weeks, 5 weeks.
I just picture the conference room, people sitting around going, I don't want to. I don't want to do a lot of work. I'm tired. That kind of deal. Like dealing with a little kid or something. And then somebody else comes through and they're like, well, we can change a couple of things around here if people want us to. And they're like, yeah, you go ahead and do that. But, oh, we have to write a reason for it? Oh, okay. I guess they beat the thing up and, But I'm curious to see how that ends up working out, I think that they could change it up a little bit. I think that it's fine kind of the way that it is, but if they have a good enough idea, sure, why not? I'm looking through the SmackDown results right now. Nothing crazy on SmackDown. Anything you guys want to talk about, except for maybe, I guess, some of the wins that we got?
Well, I mean, the last segment, Edge and Seth Rollins had a good night where Edge cut a good promo saying that he was being taken to a dark place by Rollins. At SummerSlam, he was going to burn him down. And then he gave Seth Rollins a bloodbath, which they apparently called a brood bath.
Yeah, brood bath.
That sounds dumber to me. Like, just call it a bloodbath. What, you can't say blood? You can't say that's blood?
I mean that's blood that's like been sitting out for a while.
Yeah, it was real dark, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that it wasn't blood at first. I was just kind of like, did he just pour like shit all over me? It's just kind of.
Did you just cover Seth Rollins in chocolate pudding?
Yeah. Oh God, what's that Chris Farley movie? With the chocolate pudding joke. Let me know in the comments if you remember on the live chat. I'm blanking on
it. Yeah, just it's a WWE thing they lean on at least like once every year, couple of years, or whatever. The goop falling from the sky gimmick. It's fine. But it works on someone like Rollins because he just wears really fancy clothes. So
yeah, and if they were gonna do this, though, I would have done it a little sooner because I know he had teased a while ago. I'm gonna go back into the Ministry of Darkness and the Brood days and go through all of my history to get to you. And this was like the show is tomorrow, like.
I'd say just like I wasn't awake to watch the show. So I only got up to watch Rampage, but just looking through the results, I was like, fucking hell, this is supposed to be this the show leading into Rampage and going into like your final show on SummerSlam. And so what you do is you run another Mysterio's and Uso match because we haven't seen that for the last 4 weeks. They do Baron Corbin versus Kevin Owens, which goes nowhere, and
we've seen
like more. Yeah, and it's just like it's more chasing with the briefcase. And admittedly, Corbin's doing good stuff right now, but it's just a case of like, just it just means Big E looks dumb because he gets his thing back and then immediately loses it again. They decide, oh, Natalia's back. We better repeat that Shotzi and Nox win so they can actually have a shot at the tag titles down the line.
Yeah, you got to repeat that too.
Yeah, you know that thing we did 2 months ago? We got to do it now that Natalia's healthy again. Otis beating Montez Ford, which is just like this, just never ending. This feud between Alpha Academy and the Street Profits. More stuff with Nakamura and Apollo Crews, even though it's now been firmly established that Nakamura can beat Apollo Crews in every single like combination that you can put together.
Boog's got the win though. I was surprised about that. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean he can get some time. Now he's more than just the guitarist.
I mean this in the nicest way possible. Does Apollo Crews ever come close to that level of success ever again?
I thought that he was going to struggle after that United States title situation. He ended up bouncing back and winning the Intercontinental. I don't count him out.
Yes. Yeah. He's always someone who just seems to come back when he's always there when they want to push him, but until then he'll just like sit on the sidelines for a little while. Then you have Bianca beats Selena and Carmella because, as seems to be, there's at least speculation remaining that Sasha Banks won't be competing at SummerSlam.
Yeah, judging by the fact that she was not at SmackDown, and now the match is in jeopardy again. Fuck. That'd suck.
Push comes to shove, do you think we get it or not?
I'm leaning towards no.
It seems weird that she wouldn't even be appearing on SmackDown in any shape or form leading into it. So at the moment, I'd say no.
I think it's a no, and I think that they know, and they have known, and that they are waiting until the last minute because they hope if they just announce it, like on the kickoff, maybe of like breaking news. We're sorry, but there was a problem with whatever, and we need to switch that over, and that's gonna whatever. Then that way, people won't be like, oh, what the hell? I'm not watching, you know?
But it just seems like bizarre to me that in order to like build up to that, like, okay, Sasha Banks is not going to be competing if that does end up being the case. She then on this episode of SmackDown beats what seemingly the next two people that could be in line, or the next two people that they've built up to at least be adversaries to her, like one after the other in straight singles matches, which means that neither of them can challenge for the title at SummerSlam without it being like, oh my god, she just beat you both last night.
Yeah, it has to be somebody new, whether it's Liv or Naomi or Mia Yim or it has to be someone new.
I think that the way that they've been doing things the past bunch of years, they don't care. I don't think that they just don't do a match.
I just cancel the
match. Yeah. I would at that point I'd prefer that they just cancel the match than
put either Carmella or Vega in.
Yeah, I would honestly just cancel the match.
Because either of them, it wouldn't matter anyway. Nobody would really care. Not to say that Zelina Vega's not great, not to say that Carmella's not great, but it's just not been built up like that. We've seen Carmella against Bianca, and we've seen that. So you just don't even bother. Either give a little bit more time to some of the other ones, or if they feel like they need to have some kind of an emergency thing, they go with, remember last night, Nox and Shotzi just beat the women's tag team champions again. So today, surprise, surprise, they're getting a tag team title shot. And then they bump that into some kind of bumper spot.
Yeah, I guess. But hopefully that they do pull the trigger on something cool like Naomi. You know?
And
Dana in the chat says, I think that I guess CM Punk's 90-day non-compete clause expired.
Yeah, from backstage. Couldn't fight after fighting people in backstage.
Yeah, Renee's is still kind of in the window. That's why we haven't seen her yet.
And that's why. And then at the end of SmackDown, Reigns and Cena talked, and Cena rolled up Reigns. Yeah.
You know, really quickly, since we just brought up backstage, the main people that were on WWE backstage we had Renee Young, CM Punk, Paige, Christian,
Yep.
Booker T. So Booker T's still in the mix.
Paige is still technically in the mix.
Well, she hasn't even been seen in probably over a year, I think, at this point. Maybe she might have popped up at WrestleMania. I don't remember for sure. But like, wow. Way to just kind of go, well, that show doesn't exist anymore and you can all leave. Mark Henry, I think, had made a couple of appearances, if I remember correctly. Ember Moon goes back down to NXT. It's just weird time that we're in. The roll up at the end of SmackDown, John Cena illustrating he can get not a full 3 count on Roman Reigns.
The kicker here is Reigns threatened to leave. That means nothing, guys. I know it means nothing. Please don't jump down my neck. I just want to, if we're going to talk about anything from this segment, it's that Reigns says if he loses to Cena, he'll just leave WWE.
Yeah, way to take any sort of jeopardy out of this match. Like most people wishing that Cena was gonna lose anyway because obviously he's not a permanent guy anymore. But just say like, oh yeah, if Reigns loses, he's gonna walk out of WWE, which means either Cena wins and then Reigns is not walking out of WWE, so you don't even follow through on a stipulation, or you just basically saying, yeah, Reigns is winning, and we're not even gonna give you the slightest hint of the fact that Cena might win.
Because on paper, it's, oh my God, but this makes it so much more complicated. No, it doesn't. Anybody who's watched wrestling more than a couple months understands how this works. If you're playing to the lowest common denominator, everybody above the lowest common denominator just rolls their eyes. They did not need this.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed in that.
It's amazing how like such a like monumental moment in wrestling happens that we get super excited about, and then we start talking about WWE and it feels all deflated again.
Well, the WWE side of things, we should realistically be super, super pumped about SummerSlam. It's quote unquote the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. At the very least, it's the third biggest pay-per-view of the year underneath Royal Rumble and obviously WrestleMania to be number 1. And you got a match like Roman Reigns against John Cena. They're, billing this as the greatest of his time against the greatest of all time and all this, and it's a big deal. And instead it's like, well, now I don't care as much about it because now you ruined it with this thing. And
yeah, it's a show with probably a lot of good wrestling on it that none of it really excites me. The only thing that did was like the main was Reigns versus Cena, and they've again, it's just the weird thing that WWE does is like their booking makes matches which I was excited about worse over time. Just gradually erodes my excitement.
But we got CM Punk tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who just said
I'm still feeling good about this whole weekend just because
he was asked by Nick Houseman if what his contract deal is. He said, "You don't want my deal. You just want to know that I'm here and I'm here." And so he didn't give us any specifics. He did say it wasn't a part-time.
It wasn't a part-time
contract.
No. Okay, so the way that you said that, it was like, it wasn't a part-time. I thought there was another word coming there. Yeah, so we got the big important thing from tonight. CM Punk is there in AEW. He has already called out Darby Allin. I'll be updating the website in a few minutes to just reflect that. That is something to be excited about. And, eventually when we get to All Out, we'll dive more into this kind of stuff, talk about more details of our thoughts on those kind of things and, here and there. We already ran down everything about SummerSlam. We already ran down everything about TakeOver at this point. So if you want to check those out, if you didn't already, the predictions are up on this channel. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you ring that little notification bell. If you were not able to listen to this live because you didn't know that we were going live, if you do have those email alerts set up, then you know when we go up because it'll send you that email. And we're going to be live tomorrow night for the SummerSlam post show. We're going to be live on Sunday night for the TakeOver post show. And we've got other things coming up forward in the future that we'll be live for, or just the fact that like when a new video comes up, I'm pretty sure that it sends you email alerts for that too. But it might not. I'm not entirely sure. YouTube doesn't really do the same kind of things that it normally does for me. But the game plan is to do that stuff. Next week, we don't know what we're going to really be doing for our main event and necessarily what day that's going to be, but we'll try to see how that is. And if you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see, drop them in the comments below. Because one thing that I think that we could do that we had been discussing ahead of time, and plans can change, we can go around with other things, but I liked this idea that we were kind of batting around a couple weeks ago of doing a Wrestling is 2020 and talking about the pipe bomb in retrospect. Now that CM Punk is a guarantee, I think that might be good to kind of talk about that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that would be
I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, a good thing to look at. Either, just looking at the pipe bomb and see what should have been happening, give our thoughts on how it was handled, because realistically, the famed summer of Punk in 2011 is just... well, even though we'll definitely talk about it, but the most amazing thing to me about it is just that, wow, this summer of Punk angle ended with Triple H and Kevin Nash fighting on top of a ladder for a sledgehammer.
Yeah, we could probably end up talking about that next week, and then the week after that, All Out predictions. Just kind of sneaks up on you. Frankie in the chat says, also try out the Burger King Oreo shake. Pretty good right now. I might have to check that out. We did pretty much all the stuff that we were going to be doing. Is there any other kind of hot tags that I'm missing out on that we should talk about? I don't think so, but in the meantime, when we're wrapping things up, if there is, drop something in the live chat. Obviously, the plug side of things, check out TeePublic and Redbubble if you want to pick up some merchandise. Make sure that you hit the thanks button. It's not the applause button anymore. It's the thanks button on YouTube. If you want to give us a little bit of a tip on that side of things, check out the Patreon. Join the members-only content up on Smark Out Moment. We'll probably have a dark cast coming up soon, too. I don't know exactly on what. Might just be 2 in the morning, and Rob and I might just bullshit about something. We've done that before. Just sort of...
Yeah, we've been doing that a lot. Like, we watched Jungle Cruise. We watched... we bullshit about Money in the Bank predictions for through the years. So,
yeah,
you never know. Tony and I spend way too much time together, and sometimes you get to hear it.
So stay tuned for those kind of things. Follow us all over the place on the different things that we have going on. I'm, of course, over on all the A Mango Tree branches. You know, if you go to Smark Out Moment and you go to Fanboys Anonymous and you see me all over the place at Tony Mango, hit the like button, follow my stuff, pay attention, and follow what these guys have going on as well. Rob's over there at Dude Felice all over the place.
I am on every single social media platform. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, whatever it is, I'm at Dude Felice. Check out Fightful.com. Check out Fightful Select. Sean broke the news of CM Punk talking to AEW. Check out Fightful Select. It's not a cheap plug. They're genuinely the best at what they do. Sean is so good. So please check them out. And yeah, I'm going to pass it over to Callum Wiggin, who is awesome.
Yeah, I'm very tired as well. It was a good time to get up and watch this. Had to see this moment in wrestling history. But if you want to keep up with everything that I've got going on, follow me on Twitter at WakeMeister14. Check out smartcommon.com for the power rankings and all the other weekly articles and other sporadic content appearing on there. All the other like ratings, heel and face turn list, anything and everything you can find on the Smart Out Moment website. Check all that stuff out. If you want to go back, if you're not super busy with wrestling content this week already, then check out either 2001 A Wrestling Odyssey, the Paul Heyman SmackDown podcast, just our little retro series that we have contained. Plans in the place to do something else in the short-term future, but I keep saying that. I will deliver. Me and Rob will deliver. So keep tuned for that stuff coming up when it comes up.
And just stay tuned to this channel before those pay-per-view points that are coming up tomorrow and the next day. Next episode of the main event that we do, whether it's the Wrestling with the Past or it's something else. I know that Peter in the chat had mentioned Superstar Scores CM Punk. It's another variety that we could do. And we also have another round of the hot tags coming up at some point next week, most likely Friday night. Still haven't quite figured out exactly how we're going to do this when it comes to Rampage, because we've only had 2 episodes and this one was a big special one, but I don't know. It'll happen when it happens. And hopefully you guys have a good weekend with the rest of things that are happening on the pro wrestling spectrum and everything else that's happening in your life as well. We will see you when we see everybody. But for now, this has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.